Hi, I'm JM. Welcome to the first episode of Dustforce School. Today we're going to talk about touching spikes and not dying. So there's a few ways to do this, and if you've watched speedruns or really anybody play this on Twitch or something, you've probably seen people do some of these techniques. So let's go over what some of them are. The first one is spike jumping. So here we have a 45-degree angle slope. Now what you have to do is you have to buffer a jump while holding down while landing on these spikes. So if I jump into this, I'll hold the down arrow. You can see my input display there on the bottom right. If I hold my down arrow and buffer a jump while I'm landing on those spikes, I'll get a spike jump. Like that. Notice I did a second jump in the air before attempting that. That's because you want to get rid of your air charge when you do this. You can also do a dash into it, so like this. You can down dash into it, as long as you're holding jump like I wasn't there. It's fine. And it's also worth noting, if I get rid of my air charge and I keep holding that same jump input, it's not going to do the spike jump like this. I'm just going to die. So you do have to buffer a new jump when you do that. Okay, so that's spike jumping. Next I'm going to move on to spike stands. First let's understand the difference between a slope and a slant. So what we just saw here we call slopes because they're 45 degrees. That's exactly what a slope is. These however are called slants, termed by everybody who plays Dustforce. So it's these halfway angles that you can still climb over and you can still get boost off of, but it's just a little bit different than a slope. Anyway, if they have spikes on them, sort of like this, then you can stand on one of the corners here, like that, without dying. There's a very small area where you can land here. It's not minuscule, but it does take some practice. It helps to be heading in the direction upward the slope, because if you fall into this slant, if you fall into this slant, it'll give you some momentum going towards the spikes. For example, I'm perfectly fine here. If I jump and fall down, that's going to push me left a little bit like this, and I'll die. That's why you want to either be going into it a little bit or just have a really shallow approach into it. You can also do these vertically, so off of a wall slant, like this one here. If I buffer a jump into this one, buffer being the same sort of meaning as with the spike jumps, remember, it's a press jump again, then I will jump off of this wall once I get close enough. So double jump, buffer, jump off that wall. This one's much more situational. You're not gonna find a whole lot of opportunities to use this. Maybe in customs or something. It's rarer that it's both an option and also fast, but it's good to know. Let's move on to jorfs, which are an important one. You may have done these accidentally. They happen occasionally. It's just landing on the corner of a flat spike surface. So I'm gonna attempt to do one here. It's gonna take a little bit because they're not super easy. There. So I just landed here where the spike should be killing me, but I'm on basically the furthest left I can be on this platform without falling off. If I move right at all, I will die. It's a 1 unit area, more or less. And you can also do these on either side. Doesn't matter, usually. There is some finicky stuff that goes on with negative X coordinates. So there's an origin in every map, and if you are to the left of that origin, then all jorfs will become a bit wacky. Jorfs on the left are going to be twice as wide, so they're a little more lenient. Still not easy, but a little more lenient. And jorfs on the right side where I am right now, if this were a negative X coordinate, would be what's called a null jorf, which requires that you are in an exact integer position in order to land on it. In other words, it's not going to happen if you're just moving and trying to land on it. You can also do jorfs on the wall, which is really uncommon. It's really hard to get them, and they're not really useful anywhere, so I wouldn't particularly worry about it. There are ceiling jorfs, I guess it's also worth mentioning, where you will jump into the ceiling like this, and the same thing happens. Also not particularly useful, but if it happens, now you know why. What else? Oh, right, there's also dwarf setups that you can do. So I'll go over this here. First, let me talk about deadleg. So deadleg is a completely different concept. Deadleg refers to the bottom left area of the character's hitbox not really doing what it's supposed to. If you run into some spikes with just that lower left part of the character's hitbox, you won't die. What this means in practical usage is the top right of this pillar here, I can wall jump off of that if I line it up right, like that. Not only wall jump, but you can dash off of it, you can slide off of it, or slide down it, land just on it like that. And it's all to do with the bottom left area of the character's hitbox. So this doesn't work on the opposite side of the pillar. This won't work if I try this from the left side here going right. So that's deadleg. And now I'm going to attempt to use a deadleg to do a dwarf setup. So a dwarf setup is where you climb up a wall and you just tap in the direction of the spike platform that you want to land on as you start to fall, so that you can get that dwarf a little more consistently than just blindly jumping into it, which is not a particularly useful or fast thing ever, but it's kind of fun to know, and it can help you if you're doing some weird custom map route that involves a dwarf or something. So try to climb up this, neutral out, and then just tap left. Easier said than done. I might not get this, which is okay. Yeah. Oh, almost got it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but you see the idea there. If I just tap left, then I should land on that dwarf. If this right wall here didn't have spikes on it, this would be a lot easier to demonstrate. I should have set that up. But either way, there's a dwarf setup that you can do. Let's see, what else? That's pretty much everything. I'll close out by mentioning something fun, which is an invincibility glitch. If you spawn inside of a death zone, you will get invincibility. So this sparky thing over to the right here represents a death zone that I have here. I have a respawn, a checkpoint inside of it. So I'm going to go into it, I'm going to spawn, and I'm inside of it. And now I do not get killed by spikes. So I can touch them, I can dash off of them, get boosts off of them and everything. Okay, that's all the topics I had. I had to cover today about touching spikes. If there's any other ideas that you come up with or things that I missed, please let me know. And I'll have another lesson out, hopefully by next week, topic undecided. Be sure to let me know what you think about this format, because this is my first time doing it, and I'm just doing these one take. I'm not worrying about their perfection or their quality, really. It's just to get the information out there. So let me know if you think it works for that. Thanks for checking this out and spending your time. Do let me know, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye.